and thank you so much for purchasing a 4th Street Creative template. This is the walkthrough for IG Stories The Urban, and when you purchase the design, you're going to be directed to a link that looks like this. You're going to hit Use Template, and that will open up into your own Canva workspace. The first thing that you're going to want to do once it opens is go to File and make a copy, and the reason for that is so that you always have a master file alongside the one that you're working on. So if you make mistakes or you take a direction artistically that you just don't like, you can always go back to the master and start the process all over again, making sure to again make a copy so that you always have that master file without having to go back to your download folder and doing it all over again. The first thing that you're going to want to do is upload your photos, and you do that by heading over to Uploads, upload an image or video, locate the listing photos that you want to upload, and just uploading them right into Canva. And I've already uploaded some, so I'm not going to walk through that process. In order to move your new photos into the design, you're just going to want to grab one, bring it over to the box, and when you hover it over the highlighted image box, it will pop into place, and it'll look like that. The next thing that you can change, if you'd like, is the text boxes. So we've actually created this design to have complementary fonts, so meaning that this font and this font both work very well together. But if you have brand fonts or it just doesn't work for you, you can always change the font by double clicking on the box, highlighting the text, and choosing your own font over here. If you want to change colors, you can do that by highlighting any element like this and choosing the color. And a really neat feature of Canva is that it does grab colors from the photo. So if you want, you can highlight your listing even more, or draw more attention to your listing by choosing colors that complement it. One thing to notice is sometimes these photos will be locked, and they're locked for this reason. When you have one image box over another in Canva, what can happen is this. When you try to move this image over an image behind it, it tries to push it out of place, take it over. And so you don't want that. So what you want to do is once you've put your listing photo in place and you're happy with it, you just hit lock. Another thing to note is before you hit lock, you might see that your photo doesn't fit the frame perfectly. So what you're going to want to do is double click on the frame, and that opens up the image editor, and then you can just move this around until you're completely happy with the positioning of it. So I might want to move that over just slightly. Yeah, that's the way I like it. And now I'm done, and now you're going to highlight this box and lock it so nothing wonky happens while you're designing. Another thing is you've received 10 overlays with this design, and those will be located in your overlays folder. And what you're going to want to do is upload them. You can select them all at once and then hit open. I've already uploaded them all here, so I'm not going to do that. And what you can do is change them around depending on what you need. So for example, this one might not work with this photo. I might not like it, so I'm going to use the dark one. You can just bring that into place. Okay. So I might like this more because it has more pop, but once I'm done moving it into place, you'll notice that it's above the text, and we don't want that. We want it behind. So on a Mac, you're going to hit Control and then click your mouse and send backward, and that'll move it behind the box, and that's the look that I was after, so that's perfect. Another thing you can do with these overlays is if you have something like, let's say this, where it's just a plain box, you can always delete that and add something with a little bit more intrigue to it. And once that's on your design, you can add text boxes here and here just to add a little bit more of a copy element to it. Okay, you also have optional icons that came with your purchase, and you can locate those in the icon folder that came with the design. Once they're uploaded, they're going to look like this. And these are great ways of just telling your audience how many beds, baths, and garage or parking spots are at your listing. One thing I'm going to mention is before you start fiddling with these on your design, always make sure that your image is locked. So I'm going to head over here. And the reason why we're doing that is the same reason as I gave you before, which is if you have two image files on top of one another, they can knock each other out and just make designing a little bit of a pain. So make sure that's locked and everything will be fine. Click on the first icon and that'll bring it into the template. And then you just want to shrink it down to the size that you want. I think that's a little bit too big, so I'm going to just shrink it down to that size. And I'm going to center it right here. This one, bring it down to size. And bring it down to size. Okay. Once you've positioned them where you want, I think this one's a little bit too big. There we go. Once you've positioned them where you want to tell people how many of each is in there. And you're going to do that by hitting T on your keyboard, and that's a little shortcut trick to get a text box up. And then I'm going to put the number of bathrooms at this listing. So as you can see, this brought in this font, which is Merriweather. I don't want that font. I want this one. So I'm going to highlight this box, open the font box, and type in Montserrat. That one. That looks better to me. I'm going to shrink it down a bit and move it over here. Now in order to copy it, I'm going to right click on my mouse, copy, and right click again, paste, copy, right click, right click, copy, right click, paste. And now I have one bedroom, one bathroom, one parking. I'm going to adjust the spacing a bit because it doesn't look right. And there we go. And that looks great, and that's how you use these icons. Now, what I would suggest is that when you are done and it looks great, to click on all these boxes, and you do that by holding down Shift. So, let me start from the beginning. Hold down Shift on your keyboard, and then start, okay, and that's it. When you're happy with the design, you're just going to go to Publish, Download, and it's going to be all set up for you. You hit Download, and then once this is done downloading, it's going to be in a file that, it's going to be in a zipped file. You're going to want to unzip that, and once it's unzipped, you can send it to your phone any way that you would normally send photos to your phone, whether it's Google Drive, Dropbox, AirDrop, or emailing it to yourself. Whatever you do normally, it'll work just as well with these. And that's it. If you have any more questions or you need any more help, feel free to head over to fourthstreetcreative.com/tutorials, and we have a large resource library there filled with tutorials for you and articles to help walk you through any problems you might have. Thanks so much. Happy designing.